and welcome back to another edition of Central Sports Center. A few teams from the school play this week. The volleyball team starts state playoffs with a matchup against Garnet Valley State. The hockey team plays against the Kraken on Friday. For today's episode, I'm going to do a breakdown of the 4 major league sports in the U.S. Let's start with the MLB, where we saw the Houston Astros take down the Phillies in 6 games. A great overall series that saw the Cinderella team end up losing to the eventual champs. The MLB season also included a record breaker, Aaron Judge, who put up 62 home runs to break the old AL record of 61 home runs set by Roger Maris. The MLB offseason is upon us, and we'll see how the rosters will be changed once free agency hits. In the world of hockey, the NHL season is underway with a few shockers. Some of the league's bottom feeders from the past season, including the New Jersey Devils, the Seattle Kraken, and the Winnipeg Jets, are on the top 2 spots in their respective divisions. Meanwhile, some of the top teams from the past season, the St. Louis Blues, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Calgary Flames, all have had slow starts to the year. There's still a ton of games left in the NHL season, and we'll see how the season turns out. In the NBA, we've also seen some shockers. Teams like the Lakers, 76ers, Heat, Nets, and even the reigning champs, the Warriors, are all sitting either outside the playoff picture or in the play-in. There are a few surprise teams, however, namely the Jazz and the Blazers, who have stood out as top teams in the league at the 1 and 3 seeds currently in the Western Conference. The NBA still has a lot of season left, with most teams only playing 11 to 12 games, so we'll see how the standings look at the All-Star break to get a better idea of how it's going. Lastly, we have the NFL, and the season's been crazy so far. A crazy off-season, some teams doing good and bad, upsets, and even more chaos just going on throughout the NFL in general. The top teams projected in the AFC, the Bills and Chiefs, have been showing out, while some of the other teams, namely the Colts, have sputtered to a 3-5-1 record this year, had to fire their head coach along with additional coaching staff, and had to make a QB change. The Broncos and Raiders have also looked pretty bad to start the year. The NFC's been pretty bad, with some bright spots including the NFC East, Vikings, and Seahawks. The only undefeated team in the league left is the Eagles, who look to continue the streak where their schedule doesn't look too bad, which they could realistically have a shot at going undefeated into the playoffs. There were a couple bad teams this year that weren't bad last year, namely the Packers, the Bucks, and the Rams, who've looked terrible to start the year. The trade deadline saw some big trades made, with premier players and picks being thrown around the league. Namely, Bradley Chubb was sent to the Dolphins, TJ Hawkinson sent to the Vikings, and Roquan Smith sent to the Ravens. The NFL still has another 8 weeks to go, so we'll see how the season shapes out to the end. So, with that all out of the way, let's get to the game prediction. After a nice long bye week, the Central York Panthers look to win their first playoff game of the year this Friday against the York High Bearcats. Central was successful in the prior matchup between the two, winning 43-38 in a fantastic game. For a review of the game, check out Cole's newest edition of On the Field from Thursday, November 10th edition of CTV. So, for my prediction, I believe that the Central York Panthers will win the game 49-36 at home. This has been another edition of Central Sports Center, and I hope to see you all at the game on Friday.